A very good morning. Welcome to another interesting edition of Weekend Global Morning. This is where we keep it light, we keep it simple, but we make sure that you have fun, we get entertained, as we also get educated on the program. My name is Ubong Usora. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Global Morning. And as usual, I have the diva and a very adorable Sadia Yakubu, who is just by my side. Good morning, Sadia.
Ubong Usoro, good morning. I don't like your spirit for today. What's happening?
How are you?
I'm not fine because you're not fine as
Thank God.
Thank God it's Saturday. So good morning to all our viewers, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to Global Morning, another Saturday edition of the program. My name is Sadia Yakubu Yahya. And how are you staying out there? Hope you're staying safe, checking up on your health and every other thing, checking on your loved ones. Ubon, you didn't check on me last night. What happened?
Okay. All right, so Asadia, I know that you are itching to walk us through the papers. Which of the newspapers are we starting with this morning?
I would have to go on a short break, and then when we come back, then I'll disclose, I'll unbox. We did Boxing Day, December 26th. My own Boxing Day. You didn't give me Christmas gift, Ubong Usoro.
No, this is national. All right, guys, so let's go for a short break, and when we go back, forget about what I gave you and what I did not give you. We'll talk about that later. Stay with us after this break.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, so welcome back to the program, and this is where we get to look at what the papers are saying on a weekend to keep us entertained, informed, and educated, right? A lot of information that we can actually learn from the paper. So you were trying to tell us a newspaper. Which paper are we starting with this morning?
So finally, I'm about to unbox our first newspaper for today, and the first newspaper is Saturday Independence.
All right, so we'll check the Independence newspaper Saturday edition. And Sadia, what's the lead story?
Experts raise the alarm as Lassa fever crisis deepens, and that's on page 8 of Saturday Independence.
All right, so on page 5 says, court stops resident doctors strike, bars National Association of Resident Doctors from industrial action. It's on page 5 of the newspaper.
And this is another troubling issue. Nigerians react to surge in bandit attacks in southwest. At page 4, remains of 5 forest guards killed in Oyo National Park recovered.
After the flames, commuters questions BRT's operations, calls for improved services is on page 20 of the newspaper.
All right, another story on ending police extortion. Nigerians narrate their daily ordeal. That's on page 30 of Saturday Independence.
Okay, there's a story that says blind widow entreats Okpebelo to intervene in alleged injustice over contract issues. Husband's death. The story is on page 7 of the newspaper.
And we have a last story, I think. GOCOP condoles with former president on death of sister, and that's on page 3.
All right, so the last story from me says, the gospel, according to Gideon Okeke, why Nollywood's controversial star is still at his best. I think that's an entertainment story, and that story is on page 9 of the newspaper. So the next newspaper that we'll be looking at this morning is the Nation newspaper. So we do the Nation newspaper now. A Saturday edition of the Nation's newspaper.
The Nation newspaper. We're talking the Nation newspaper, and our lead story is Rivers. I think you need to do a lot of research about this Rivers story. Rivers lawmakers adamant as stakeholders move to stop Fubara's impeachment. Then we have some stories under Pandef names Agabi to Bruka Truce. Fayose, only fast prayers can save Fubara. Ijaw National Congress flays move to sack governor. Governor lacks capacity to win state for Tinubu in 2027. Lawmaker.
All right, a lot of Rivers State politics on the Nation's newspaper, that Saturday edition. But let's go to another story. Page 6, 2026, opportunity to rewrite history of elections. INEC, Amopiton unveils reform agenda, targets world-class poll.
All right, we have one coming from my state. Burgu bloodbath. How fleeing terrorists turned Niger market to slaughter slab. And that's on page 21 of the Nation newspaper.
Yeah, just under it says survivor recounts ordeal in the hands of bandits. Another story says Dangote drags ex-NMDPR boss Ahmed to EFCC over corruption claims.
And we have one story coming from the INEC 2027 opportunity to rewrite history of elections. INEC, and that's on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper.
Page 5 says Atiku has been contesting presidency since my NYSC days. Baba Ahmed, that's Baba Ahmed.
And I'm seeing one from Trump as well on page 3. Trump admits Muslims also been killed in Nigeria. I think finally he has agreed that it's not only Christian genocide. The killings in Nigeria is not only about religion or cultural background. All right, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim. These people don't know about religion. They just do what they want to do, and then we are all in pain. So.
All right, so another story from page 25 says Steve Omojafo, our wives fed us for 6 months after we started advert agency. Do we still have wives like that these days? It is hard to tell.
All right, Uba, have you taken that off them?
No, I asked a question and you didn't say something.
I will give you an answer to that much later.
Okay, maybe the last day I'll be taking.
We still have them, but then they are not much.
Are you one of them?
Yes, I am to some extent. I will do it and stop. I will do it and stop. I can't continue like that, because if I should continue like that, practically the man or my husband will just use his own money for another thing.
No, he said 6 months.
For that 6 months now,
a job
he even if he has a job, he will keep pretending that he doesn't have a job, so that I'll keep doing
no,
the
this one is just 6 months. Can you do it for 6 months?
I can do it for a few months. I can do it for a few months, honestly speaking.
But you can't put number to it.
I can't put number to it. I
love you for your sincerity. You know, that's one of the reasons I really love you, your sincerity. You are really sincere.
All right, last story from me on the Nation newspaper this Saturday morning is the Dangote drags ex-NMDPRA boss Ahmed to EFCC over corruption claims. And that's on page 2. That's the final story from me today.
All right, so Jesse returns $9.5 million looted funds for Abuja Kano Road. That story is on page 3 of the newspaper. So let's move to another newspaper.
Saturday Vanguard.
All right, so the Vanguard newspaper, Saturday edition of the Vanguard. Our lead story says, Wike maintains silence. Stakeholders pressure lawmakers to halt move. Fubara still abroad, gets backing of party leaders, power brokers. Pandef raises 7-man reconciliation committee. APC National Working Committee meets next week on issue. How defection to APC killed Fubara/Wike agreement. On page 10.
This really, there's more to this story. All right, next story coming from me is a football story. I know we have those who love football. Nigerian vs. Algeria. Algeria. When structure meets firepower. That's on page 16 of Saturday Vanguard.
The women who buy men. Unmasking sugar mummies. That story is on page 14. You may want to take a read.
All right. Fears your new elections won't hold in 2027 following defections to APC, and that's on page 12.
Trump threatens more strikes in Nigeria. Is on page 8 of the newspaper.
Again, Dangote takes ex-petroleum regulator Ahmad to EFCC, and that's on page 26 of Saturday Vanguard.
Afrima 2026. Burna Boy, Davido, DJ Maforisa battle for supremacy tomorrow in Lagos.
All right, I think that's all for Saturday Vanguard. Moving on to the next newspaper, weekend edition, Weekend Trosts.
All right, so the Trust newspaper, Daily Trust, the weekend edition of the Daily Trust is the next newspaper that we'll be trying to look at this morning. The lead story says, Rivers, weakest hold tested.
Food prices drop, farmers in dilemma over loan, hard payment. And page 37 of Weekend Trosts.
KPMG identifies major loopholes in new tax law. It's on page 20 of the newspaper.
How Maiduguri market takes Almajiri off streets. I think this is an interesting one. Page 33 of Weekend Trosts.
Page 13 says resumption. How safe are schools? I just think we'll just need to drop here and say a few comments about our schools. Pupils and students will be going back to school.
Yeah.
In fact, some schools started on Monday, but on this particular Monday, a lot of people will be going back to school. And we've seen kidnapping of school children of recent. At least we've had two in the last 3 months. And it questions the security and safety of the students. We know some of these children trek for long miles to get to school.
Yeah.
Some of them have to even go to school without eating in the morning just to make sure that they get educated. Some parents get loans. Some parents really put themselves in very uncomfortable situations to see their children go to school. So I think the last thing that any parent would want, I can't imagine the trauma that comes with knowing that your child went to school and the child is not able to come back because your child is being kidnapped. Remember, some of the people that have even been kidnapped going to school, they've not been back to today. For instance, remember the 2013 kidnapping, Leah Sharibu, the rest of them.
Chibok.
Yeah, Chibok kidnapping. Some of those people are not still back to today. How many years now? More than 10 years, right? So you can imagine the separation. Somebody will say it will even have been better, okay, this person is sick, or you just know, but it keeps your mind, will the person come back? So it's a lot of devastation, it's a lot of heartache, it's a lot of frustration and depression for the parents. So I think that we must, we also have to give it to our security agencies. The last 2-3 months, right, we've seen renewed vigor, we've seen results, we've seen terrorists running, fleeing from Nigeria, trying to go into Niger and other countries. Shows that we're working, but we cannot afford to allow education be tampered with. Because one of the things that places people at par in our society is education. Education is a leveler. You can bring anybody's child into a room. When you're educated, you are confident, you can become anything with education. It doesn't matter the background where you come from, it doesn't matter your village, if you have admission to study medicine. at the end of the day, be able to go through the rigors of the medical school. You are a medical doctor. At the end of the day, nobody cares if your father is rich. Yeah, so the same medical doctor that a president's child is, that studied medicine, for instance, is the same medical doctor that you are. Yeah. You can raise your head anywhere in the world, right? At that time, your background does not matter. You cannot. So we must not allow education to be tampered with, because we keep having insertion into our educational system. Sometimes I just think, is it a deliberate policy or is it a deliberate attempt by some people? We see strikes in our educational system. That alone can make some people say they don't want to go to school. People that don't want to go through that stress, say, I'll go to school, I'll go and do I don't want to.
Get kidnapped, and before you know it, we have a lot of them roaming around the streets.
We are even incentivizing some of these children to go to school. So when maybe two neighbors had children, one whose child went to school was kidnapped. The other one will say, instead of my child to be kidnapped, let's
stay at home.
So let me even speak. So you can imagine the mental trauma, even to the teachers, because the last school, a vice principal was killed, right? So yes, as we will be resuming schools on Monday, please let's make sure that we put the necessary security infrastructure in place. There should be perimeter fencing. There should be security personnel around the school area. There should be an early alert system and all of the other things that the government knows how to do best.
Talking about the early alert system, like that of Kebbi State, if I could remember, the governor said they had security alerts, but you don't know why the soldiers left the school premises before the attack took place. So you see, if we have these information, first-hand information, we shouldn't take it for granted. All right. Once we have any information that we are going to have insecurity or kidnap will happen or this or that, vacate. Make sure the pupils or the students or the teachers there vacate that place immediately. Don't say, okay, till tomorrow when they want to strike. That's when you start thinking of, say, okay, next tomorrow or in 2 days' time, don't come to school. No, start from today. So I think this is one of the things that we can do to secure other people's children, other students, or their teachers. And in fact, including the security agencies, because they are also humans.
Right, absolutely. Even the security agencies, but we know many of them who have lost their lives in this fight against insecurity. But let's check another newspaper now.
Which is the last newspaper for today, Saturday Telegraph.
All right, the Telegraph newspaper. Let's check out the lead story. It says, Tinubu only focus on empowering Southwest. Tambuwal, who is a former governor of Sokoto State and a current one of the senators representing that state at the National Assembly. He says APC panicking, vows attempts to write election results will be resisted, criticizes defection to align with the Center for Protection. It's on page 4 of the newspaper. All
right, 2027, Amupitam vows to conduct transparent elections, and that's on page 5 of Saturday Telegraph. Although we have UK threatens to deport Nigerians over illegal jobs, and that's on page 7.
ADC presidential tickets. Northern caucus splits between Atiku and Obi. It will be better if Southern candidate runs against Tinubu. Our party wants to recover Nigeria from APC or war on Iran. It's on pages 2 and 20 of the newspaper.
Still on sports, AFCON. I am focused on winning Algeria, not bothered by the bonus rule. Chile, that's Coach Eric Chile.
All right, so just a few comments there. Recently, we saw Nigerian players who are in Morocco for the African Cup of Nations, come out and say they've not been paid their bonuses, their winning bonuses, and it was escalated. And just yesterday we saw the Minister of State for Sport, Doris, who came out to say that the payments have been made. But for me, it also speaks to our nation. So if these players didn't come to say that,
that means they won't pay them.
We won the first match, we won the second match, we won the third match, qualified from the group stage, won the quarterfinal. sorry, won the round of 16, and now we are at the quarterfinal, and we are not paid our bonuses, right? So I think we should be more deliberate as a country. These are not issues that should be brought to the forefront. Those who are, the funds should be released because these guys are representing Nigeria. If we don't have money to pay their bonuses, is it that we make it clear to them that please we can't pay now and give them a definite timeline, and not just keep them in the blank that and you know this is what they do for a living. This is their own job. This is how they earn a living. Yeah, they are not. Yeah, we could say Nigeria is doing them some sort of, but there's a mutual agreement. We play for Nigeria. Nigeria takes care of our funds and takes care of our bonuses. So these are the reasons why some players don't even want to come and play for Nigeria.
That's the major reason.
Right, we have a lot of players. They have a lot of people who have gone ahead to represent other countries and leave Nigeria. So
I think, sorry for quoting you, if I could recall Osimhen threatened to go back to his team or his club where he's playing rather than Galatasaray, rather than playing for his own country, Nigeria. So I think these are one of the things that discouraged him.
A lot, because even when these players get injured while playing for the national team, the level of care is abysmal, the level of support, but if they are injured in their team, they are taken to first-class hospitals, they are taken care of. So you have to compare and contrast. So what they do is just mostly for love for nationhood. They love Nigeria. Most of them grew up. So it's a pride to represent Nigeria. But Nigeria should not make it hard. I remember a woman telling the husband, please don't make it hard for me to love you. I want to love you, but don't make it hard. Nigeria should not make it hard for them to represent.
This is why you're talking about love. Don't worry. I have a topic, I have a program for us that I will talk about today about friendship, managing friendships and friendship and relationships. Maybe that's where you now talk about the love properly. I've created a program for you. I've created a topic for you to talk about love.
Check out newspaper. I don't mind Sadia. That's some of the things she likes to do. All right. All right. So we have another story. It's about the coalition. It says coalition to Rivers Assembly members stop Fubara's impeachment or be recalled. In condemns move against Governor Pandey, urges combatants to shed swords. It's on page 3 of the Telegraph newspaper.
All right, a last story from me. NARD Udu, that's with Madam Fojo University Teaching Hospital, Sokoto, AKT, here to join strike January 12 as court stops action. Edo NMA to withdraw services over kidnapped colleagues, and that's on page 4 and 8 of Saturday Telegraph. Last stories from me.
All right, so that's the much you can take this morning on the newspaper segment of Global Morning. Before now, we sat down with a gentleman as we discussed mentorship for the year 2026, and we'll be bringing that particular interview. But right after that, of course, we are still here with you as we have fun, we get educated, and we learn about mentorship in this year 2026. We'll be right back. Sadia.
Don't go nowhere. See you soon.
All right, stay with us.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
mentorship, leveraging mentorship to be able to choose careers and do the right things and just move ahead. So we have joining us in the studios this morning to help make sense of the discussion, Captain Caleb Danladi, who is doing a lot of work around motivating, mentoring, and helping a lot of young people around Nigeria understand their purpose. As we discuss our topic that says career paths, leveraging success by mentorship in 2026. All right, so we have Captain Caleb Danladi, who's joined us in the studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Danladi, for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much for having me, and Happy New Year.
Same to you. So let's talk about mentorship. How important, because in this part of the world, we rarely even see people volunteer. We rarely even see people, just understand that you could go and learn and get better with time. How important is mentorship in achieving success in our lives?
Okay, that's a very important question, because when we talk about mentorship, we look at a structural relationship between someone who is more experienced and someone who is less experienced, just in a layman language.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? It means that someone who is less experienced is going to learn from someone who is more experienced, which is very important. If you look at the career path today, it's not linear. The career path today is very, very complex. What does that mean? It means degree alone is not sufficient for one to progress in 21st century. So it's very, very important for us to have people who are going to guide these youth, who are going to mentor them so that they can be able to achieve their aims in life. What do I mean? Mentorship is very, very, very crucial. Why is mentorship crucial? Because we have a lot of youths that don't have sense of direction. We have a lot of youths who have the potentials, but they don't even know where to go. So it's very important for these youths to learn from the experienced mentors. And then by guiding them, by giving them a sense of direction, at least they will realize their potentials. Because a lot of people have the potentials, but they don't know what to do. Yeah. A lot of youths are actually confused. And there are a lot of issues that have to do with parental pressure, where your parents will want you to study medicine, but you actually want to study law, or you want to study technical drawing, or whatever it is. So the parents cannot guide you, because you need mentors that are going to guide you. Your parents can actually serve as mentors, which is very important. But parental pressure and mentorship are two different things. The parent wants you to do what they want, whereas the mentor will guide you. He through guidance, he will understand your strengths, he will understand your weaknesses, he will understand your plight, he will understand your emotions and what you want to do. So mentorship today is very, very important. Let's take, for example, today you want to empower youth and you want him to go into tailoring, whereas he wants to go into ICT. So if you train him in tailoring, no, he's not going to succeed, because his mind is in ICT. So you need to guide him, you need to mentor him. By mentoring them is very important. They understand the career path. And you are also exposing them to the network of professionals, which is very important. Networking is important today. Through mentorship, you will be able to identify their strengths and weaknesses. So you are guiding them. It's not like you are dishing out instruction. You are using them as slave to master way of doing things. No, mentorship is more than that. Mentorship is about counseling. It's about guidance. It's about identifying the strength of that particular mentee, and then you can be able to guide him in the particular part. And also, you can also mentor him when it comes to critical thinking, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to role model. So we have different types of mentorship when it comes to mentorship mentee programs.
Right. So quite very you've really expanded that. But let's look at African society. Looking at maybe some 20 years ago, 50 years ago, and all of that. Do we have mentorship ingrained in our African traditional systems and in our traditional system, in our cultural system? Is it like some people will say, is it a foreign idea, or do we have it ingrained in our African society?
Actually, we have mentorship today when it comes to our African culture. But I would say it as a crossroads, so it's not linear. Because there are a lot of youths today that lacks mentorship and they lack direction. It's very important for you to know that we have a youthful population of over 70% of the country's population. So our greatest asset today is the youthful population below the age of 25. So while some are opportune to have mentors, majority of them don't have mentors. So mentorship is not something that you are borrowing from the foreign countries or from the foreign land. No, it's been in existence. Even when you come to the traditional way of doing things, there are mentors. When it comes to the religious way of doing things, there are mentors. However, how many of these youthful population are being mentored? It's few, because like I mentioned earlier, more than 70% of the Nigerian population are below the age of 25. So you look at, is it the remaining 25% that will mentor 75%? So the number is quite complex. However, the youth themselves must take it as a point of duty to approach someone who will mentor you. If you go through the social media and you like the way someone is addressing national issues, you like the career path of someone, I believe that you will strongly meet him. You will approach him to see how he can be able to mentor and guide you. There are good mentors in the country. I give you an example. Baz Omotowa is a very good mentor who produced a book from storeroom to boardroom, and he's been writing on LinkedIn, oh, I want to mentor these certain people, and I've seen people coming together to learn from him, to learn from his experience. There are so many mentors like the likes of Tony Elemelu. They are also mentors. They mentor the younger generation. They ensure inclusivity. So it's very important. Today we have a lot of charity organizations and a lot of faith-based organizations that are mentoring people. Let's also move to the faith-based organizations today. If you look at the pastors, the older reverends are mentoring the younger ones. When we are growing up before, you always have one reverend in the church. But today you have a reverend and associate pastor, and in some churches you have also 2 or 3 pastors. The last time I was in my village, when we had a turbaning ceremony, we had a deputy imam that came. So you can see there's a mentorship is moving from part to part. But like I mentioned earlier, because of the demographic population, it's difficult for those people to have mentors, and it also have to do with mindset. You don't wait for mentors to meet you. You have to look for these particular mentors. We have people who are willing to mentor the youthful population. However, the youth themselves must show political will and commitment to be mentored, which is important. That being said, a lot of Nigerian youth have also shown commitment and political will as well to be mentored. And those who have been mentored, you can see they are successful in their various careers today.
Right. So let's come back to career path. I'll come to mentorship since we're talking about career path and mentorship. Right. One of the things that a lot of people in Nigeria struggle with is choosing careers. In fact, these days I know that there are careers that if you want to choose, people say, no, it's not a professional career. Why don't you go for something that is professional? It will save you time. It will save you the stress of coming back from, going with files from one office to the other. Let's look at career generally. Is Nigeria's career trajectory or projection, is it progressive in nature? And what are some of the careers that you've looked at and you'll be like, wow, because we also see this at home. You talked about parents could also be mentors. Some parents will say, if you're not a lawyer, if you're not a banker, if you're not maybe a doctor, or an engineer, you don't choose any other career because they look at the career projections. And so as a mentor, if you're looking at career, what are some of the careers that you will readily come to your mind to suggest to young people? And now we are seeing an emerging career in ICT, in IT. A lot of people are also going there.
Career is very, very important when it comes to choosing a career. Today, in 21st century, career path is complex. It's not as linear as it used to be in the traditional days. What I mean by traditional days, I mean in the early 90s and the 80s and the 70s is quite different today. So the most important thing has to do with the youths themselves. the youthful population must know what they want. Like I mentioned earlier, your parents' choice is different from your own choice.
Amazing.
Like when I was coming up, my dad actually wanted me to study medicine, but deep in me, I wanted to be a marine professional, and I made him understand, and then he supported me at that point. So I think the parents have to also listen to their children. You have to sit down with your children to ask them what they want. You know, people have different skills. The people have different aspiration in life. Some people from childhood, they want to become military personnel. So when you see a child that has such an ambition, I think it's better for you to support him. It's better for you to support him to achieve his dream in life. It's very, very important than for you to force him to go and study medicine or to go and study law where he is not interested. That's why today you find out that a lot of people that study law, they end up working in an engineering firm. But there is no career that is as good or as better than other careers. Degree today is not enough. I strongly advise our youth to engage in skill acquisition so that at least that will help you when you don't get a job. Mind you, 70% of the Nigerian population are below the age of 25 and they are graduating every day, and the number of graduates are increasing. So if you have a technical and vocational skill, you stand a better chance than somebody who just has a degree. What do I mean? That if you have a technical and vocational skill today, you will be able to set up your own business, your own SME or a startup, you know, and you can be able to employ others. By employing others, we are discussing about mentorship. You are training them, you are mentoring them. So you are increasing the number of youths that are in that particular career. You are guiding them, and then you are building the nation. You are not just building the nation, but you are contributing to the GDP of the nation, and you are reducing the unemployment opportunities. So, like I mentioned, there is no career that is better than others. If you want to be a lawyer, and if you have a mentor that will guide you through the law processes, it's very, very important. He will be able to guide you on different aspects of law. We have maritime law, property law, civil law, which is very, very important, rather than for you to be a blind person just being left in the ocean. So it's very important. So my advice is, wherever you find yourself, you have to be dedicated to your job. You have to be hardworking. You have to be resilient, because failure doesn't mean the end of life. Some people, once they fail, they give up. No, don't give up. You have to do it again to do it again. That is an ability for someone who is determined to be great in life. So failure is not the end of the life. So that is why mentorship is very, very important, because the mentors are going to put you through, they are going to guide you, they are going to see through your successes. Because when you have a mentor, it's like a structured work-based learning program. At every phase, they guide you. And what does that mean? It also means that you have a network of professionals. Once you are networking, getting a job is not going to be difficult for you. And also, you have to look at some aspect of also meeting people. There's another thing that you have a brand, and it's another thing that your brand is being accepted. So once you have a mentor that is guiding you, he'll be able to guide you on which skills that is marketable today. You know, you have to move into market-oriented skills, not just every skills. Oh, because people are going to fashion designing, oh, I'm going to go into fashion designing. Because people are going to tailoring, oh, I'm going to tailoring. No, you must be able to look at the skills that are marketable, the skills that tailor the industrial need, the skills that tailor the 21st century need. Is very, very important. I know ICT is very, very important because the world is a global village. But without lawyers today, they won't be able to settle disputes. You know, without engineers today, when the camera broke down, who was going to fix it? So it's a value chain that everybody is important. Everybody is crucial. Whatever career you choose, you have to be hardworking. You have to be dedicated to your career. Some people, I think the challenges they are having today is, oh, I want to be a lawyer. And when you look at a successful soldier, you say, I want to be a soldier. When you look at somebody who is a pilot that has built a big house, you say, oh, I want to be a pilot. No, you have to stick to your focus. You have to be focused. You have to stick to a particular direction. And then that is where mentorship comes to play, because you won't find someone who is a lawyer and he will mentor an ICT person. No, it's very important to be skill-driven oriented mentorship program. So which is a program because it's a relationship between somebody who is more experienced and somebody who is less experienced. And then I strongly believe when you mentor somebody in a particular career, it goes a long way. It helps him not only about building and developing his skills, but also about building his leadership qualities. Because leadership is very, very important and it's very crucial today.
Right. So let's look at, you mentioned something. You said that when you mentor somebody, it builds his skills and allows him the ability to also build leadership. And I think that's very important in mentorship, because in Nigeria, we talk about our leadership, that we struggle with leadership in different sectors. We even see in our banking sector, we've heard bank CEOs being immersed in corruption scandals and all of that. In our politics, we hear time and time again as to can having wrong mentors deviate people. For instance, people are looking up to our movie stars, people are looking up to celebrities, and sometimes you see that a lot of these young people are mentored by people from afar. Some of them don't even know they exist, but they mentor them one way or the other because they listen to their music, they idolize them, they see them as heroes, and sometimes they have character fallings, they have imperfection and all of that. Does the imperfection of a mentor rub off on the mentee? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
So when it comes to mentorship, I strongly believe that the mentee should pick the positive part of that mentor.
Right.
Because nobody is perfect today. Nobody is perfect. You have your shortfall, you have your downfalls, you have some areas of weaknesses, but I believe you should pick on the positive aspect. That being said, during mentorship, there should be integrity. So you won't bring somebody who is as corrupt as anybody to mentor you. Are you going to learn corruption? No. So when it comes to mentorship, I think you have to choose your mentors wisely. You have to choose somebody who has integrity, who will be able to speak to you, who you'll be able to learn the core ethical values. And it's not somebody today that you will find him on the roadside getting drunk. So you too, he's going to mentor you on the drunk aspect. That's one thing. You talk about issues about musical stars and whatever. You pick in the positive value from them because you are not in contact with them one-on-one. So now we are discussing about mentorship, that you are in contact with them one-on-one. And it's very important for you to choose your mentors wisely. If, for instance, a lady now wants to choose a mentor, it's not somebody that's going to have a relationship with her. It's somebody that's going to mentor her through her career, guide her, be like a fatherly figure, be like a father to her, so that when she grow up through her career, she'll be able to reflect back to say, oh, without this person, I would have not been here today. We have seen them in Nigeria today. We have great mentors that have mentored a lot of younger generation, and they are doing excellently well. So when it comes to choosing your mentor, you have to choose your mentors wisely. You don't have to choose people of questionable character. You don't have to choose somebody today that he doesn't have time to mentor you. He's in this court today, he's in the EFCC arm tomorrow, he's this. No, you need somebody who has integrity. Mind you, you are learning from that person. You have to pick the core positive values. You have to learn very, very important values from that particular person, which is very important today.
All right, so I'd like to ask the next question now about the fact, because we mentioned about learning values, and let's talk about how busy a lot of mentors get these days. I know you are a mentor, and you yourself are a very busy person. So, and this is one of the challenge where people have as to how do I make out time of my busy schedule to mentor, because the world seems to get very busy these days, and even parents really even have time for their children. We've heard stories of fathers who are always going out and coming back at night, and maybe the day they decide to stay at home, children is calling them, who are you? Are you looking for somebody? And I say, I'm just father, I'm the one paying rent. But I don't see you now. When I wake up, they tell me my father has gone out. So that's the kind of world we live. It is very dynamic, very moving. People get so engaged, especially people who stay in towns like Lagos and the rest of them, that traffic could keep you have to leave very early in the morning. How do you find time to get mentored? Because you yourself, that you are looking for mentorship, you also have a very crazy schedule. So how do you find time yourself to get mentored, and how do you also find time for your mentees as a mentor? Or do you just mentor them from afar and say, okay, I'll be a good person, anybody can pick lessons along the way as I work, but I will not dedicate time? How do you manage that scenario?
Okay, that's a good question. I think it's very important when it comes to mentor and mentee relationship. It's not all about learning. It's not all about, keeping someone and teaching. These are the skills you require. These are what you require. The world is a global village. You can mentor someone even virtually. Today we have Zoom communication. While here in Nigeria, I do connect with people in Europe via Zoom. There are conferences that I don't have to be present today via Zoom. So it's very important. Even within the shortest period of time, they can also mentor you virtually, which is important. And I've seen it where they are put, at this particular time, I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z. Even when you appear in television, people look onto you, the way you present yourself, the way you address people, it goes a long way. Another important aspect is, even in your busy schedule, you delegate tasks and authority. Delegation is a skill, because when you delegate, they tend to understand, this is a leader. He delegates tasks, he gives us tasks, and he gives us timeline to meet up with that task, which is very, very important today. In any industry you work, if there is no delegation, there is micromanagement, you don't seem to get a positive result. So delegation of authority is very, very important. And one of the crucial aspects of mentorship is about sense of ownership. Everybody must have that sense of ownership. Even if you are not there, they will be able to do something, right? You will be able to delegate authority, because you won't be there forever. You'll be able to delegate authority to your staff, you'll be able to delegate authority to your mentee, you'll be able to delegate authority to your trainees, so that they will have that sense of ownership. Without that sense of ownership, I don't think they'll be able to develop a confidential leadership skills that they'll be able to stand firm when taking decisions. So it's very important in that aspect.
All right. So another thing that we've seen is that mentors are maybe running away because from their means, because before now, the kind of African society we had was that if you have given birth to a child, you basically do not own the child alone, right? The whole community has a child. So the community had a responsibility towards mentoring.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
They told you education is the key. They said, go to school. But why are so many graduates purposeless and jobless? On EduShift, we spot the cracks. We challenge the educational system. Torn between science, arts, and commerce, we bring clarity and answers to your questions, and we light up the path for a generation ready to stand out. Come enjoy discussions with educators, employers, and counselors. Let us fix this problem of career misalignment and help you discover yourself. EduShift, only on Global TV.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
we delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Also about building his leadership qualities,
Leadership.
because leadership is very, very important and it's very crucial today.
Right. So let's look at it. You mentioned something. You said that when you mentor somebody, it builds his skills and allows him the ability to also build leadership. And I think that's very important in mentorship, because in Nigeria we talk about our leadership, that we struggle with leadership in different sectors. We even see in our banking sector, we've heard bank CEOs being immersed in corruption scandals and all of that. In our politics, we hear time and time again as to can having wrong mentors deviate people. For instance, people are looking up to our movie stars, people are looking up to celebrities, and sometimes you see that a lot of these young people are mentored by people from afar. Some of them don't even know they exist, but they mentor them one way or the other because they listen to their music, they idolize them, they see them as heroes, and sometimes they have character fallings, they have imperfection and all of that. Does the imperfection of a mentor rub off on the mentee? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
So when it comes to mentorship, I strongly believe that the mentee should pick the positive part of that mentor.
Right.
Because nobody is perfect today. Nobody is perfect. You have your shortfall, you have your downfalls, you have some areas of weaknesses, but I believe you should pick on the positive aspect. That being said, during mentorship, there should be integrity. So you won't bring somebody who is as corrupt as anybody to mentor you. Are you going to learn corruption? No. So when it comes to mentorship, I think you have to choose your mentor wisely. You have to choose somebody who has integrity, who will be able to speak to you, who you'll be able to learn the core ethical values. And it's not somebody today that you will find him on the roadside getting drunk. So you too, you are going, he's going to mentor you on the drunk aspect. That's one thing. You talk about issues about musical stars and whatever. You pick in the positive value from them because you are not in contact with them one-on-one. So now we are discussing about mentorship, that you are in contact with them one-on-one. And it's very important for you to choose your mentors wisely. If, for instance, a lady now wants to choose a mentor, it's not somebody that's going to have a relationship with her. It's somebody that is going to mentor her through her career, guide her, be like a fatherly figure, be like a father to her, so that when she grow up through her career, she'll be able to reflect back to say, oh, without this person, I would have not been here today. We have seen them in Nigeria today. We have great mentors that have mentored a lot of younger generation, and they are doing excellently well. So when it comes to choosing your mentor, you have to choose your mentors wisely. You don't have to choose people of questionable character. You don't have to choose somebody today that he doesn't have time to mentor you. He's in this court today, he's in the EFCC arm tomorrow, he's this. No, you need somebody who has integrity. Mind you, you are learning from that person. You have to pick the core positive values. You have to learn very, very important values from that particular person, which is very important today.
All right. So I'd like to ask the next question now about the fact, because you mentioned about learning values, and let's talk about how busy a lot of mentors get these days. I know you are a mentor, and you yourself are a very busy person. So, and this is one of the challenge where people have as to how do I make out time of my busy schedule to mentor, because the world seems to get very busy these days. You even parents really even have time for their children. We've read stories of fathers who are always going out and coming back at night, and maybe the day they decide to stay at home, children is calling them, "Who are you? Are you looking for somebody?" And I say, "I'm just father, the one paying rent, but I don't see you now." When I wake up, they tell me my father has gone out. So that's the kind of world we live. It is very dynamic, very moving. People get so engaged, especially people who stay in towns like Lagos and the rest of them, that traffic could keep you. You have to leave very early in the morning. How do you find time to get mentored? Because you yourself, that you are looking for mentorship, you also have a very crazy schedule. So how do you find time yourself to get mentored, and how do you also find time for your mentees as a mentor? Or do you just mentor them from afar and say, okay, I'll be a good person, anybody can pick lessons along the way as I work, but I will not dedicate time? How do you manage that scenario?
Okay, that's a good question. I think it's very important when it comes to mentor and mentee relationship. It's not all about learning. It's not all about, keeping someone and teaching. These are the skills you require. These are what you require. The world is a global village. You can mentor someone even virtually. Today we have Zoom communication. While here in Nigeria, I do connect with people in Europe via Zoom. There are conferences that I don't have to be present today via Zoom. So it's very important. Even within the shortest period of time, they can also mentor you virtually, which is important. And I've seen it where they are put, at this particular time, I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z. Even when you appear in television, people look onto you, the way you present yourself, the way you address people, it goes a long way. Another important aspect is, even in your busy schedule, you delegate tasks and authority. Delegation is a skill, because when you delegate, they tend to understand, this is a leader. He delegates tasks. He gives us tasks. and he give us timeline to meet up with that task, which is very, very important today. In any industry you work, if there is no delegation, there is micromanagement, you don't seem to get a positive result. So delegation of authority is very, very important. And one of the crucial aspects of mentorship is about sense of ownership. Everybody must have that sense of ownership. So even if you are not there, they will be able to do something, right? You will be able to delegate authority because you won't be there forever. You will be able to delegate authority to your staff, you'll be able to delegate authority to your mentee, you'll be able to delegate authority to your trainees, so that they will have that sense of ownership. Without that sense of ownership, I don't think they'll be able to develop a confidential leadership skills that they'll be able to stand firm when taking decisions. So it's very important in that aspect.
All right. So another thing that we've seen is that mentors are maybe running away because from their means, because before now, the kind of African society we had was that if you have given birth to a child, you basically do not own the child alone, right? The whole community has a child. So the community had a responsibility towards mentoring people, right? By the age grade system, like in my society, there's like a age grade system that you need to pass through to be brought into adulthood. So if you've not passed through, so that's a system where the mentor, they'll teach you on discipline, they'll teach you on how to be prudent. So if you are harvesting, let's say 5 tubers of yam, during that training season, you'll be taught that you're not supposed to eat the 5, right? Maybe you can eat 2 and keep 3. In the worst case scenario, you even eat 3 and keep 2. But that's the highest that you can do. Trying to teach you so you know that not everything that comes in has to finish, financial management and the rest of it. So it's like a traditional system that teaches. But I'd like to bring a question now to you and ask about this kind of systems that should we have like schools for mentorship? Do we have specialized schools for mentorship, for teaching mentorship skills to a group of people? Should we have like, do you think that it will help to have like, I know there are a lot of conferences and mentors, but maybe brought into the Nigeria, and we know that, okay, these are the mentorship centers we have in different places. Because if you also look at the level of decadence in the society, these persons are mentored negatively. Somebody was saying the other day that even those who do, let's say you even do drugs, or people that do things that are against government, they are mentored wrongly. But what kind of systems do you think should be put in place by the government, by spiritual individuals like yourself and the rest, to help correct the anomaly that we have in the society presently?
Okay, it's really crucial for us to mentor the younger generation. A good mentor, wherever you are, whether you're in a classroom, if you have a lecturer, people look onto him. All right. Today, if you go to our societies and people look onto people as mentor, even without having one-on-one contact, because of their values, because of how they view the society, because of their leadership and mentorship qualities. If you also go to the classrooms, there are ways where students look up to this teacher. They also look up to this teacher because they have 1 or 2 things or skills they can pick. Let's go back to the drawing board classroom. Very important. Whether you are in the classroom or you are in the laboratory, as a teacher, the students look onto you as a mentor. You are not only teaching them, but you are mentoring them. It's not me coming to tell me, oh, makes X plus Y is equals to Z. No, but there are some skills that they will learn from you. There are some guidance that you guide them. When it comes, you also talk about careers. So that's why in schools today we have career days, where the younger generation today, you see small children like my son, the other day he wore some kind of building engineer's clothes and he refused to remove it for the whole day. Why? Because they are exposing him to engineering career. And then he loves his tools. You look at from there, children begin to pick up. Oh, I want to be an engineer. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a soldier. Why? It's because of this career day. Career day is crucial when it comes to mentorship. That is in school because you are teaching, but you don't know that it's a mentorship program that is ongoing, because students are beginning to learn different skills. Students are beginning to know that, oh, when I grow up, I will become X, Y, Z, which is important. As a teacher, you have to look at yourself as a mentor to the children, which is very important to the student, I mean. The student should look at you as someone they should be able to emulate, both when it comes to skills, interpersonal relationship, and character-wise. It's very, very important.
Skills, interpersonal relationship, character-wise.
Yes. They should be able to look onto you. But when you are a teacher and you come to class drunk, what are they learning from you? No. So in my opinion, yes, there are programs for mentorship, and it's important to incorporate it. Yes, it's very important and crucial. However, the basic teaching themselves, the teachers themselves should see themselves as mentors and role models. So it doesn't start from students. It starts from the teachers training school, where the teachers themselves will be equipped with all the necessary skills to serve as mentors. Let's take, for example, now, a teacher who is teaching nursery school students should be able to teach the students about how to share their toys in the class, because their parents are not there. Not that when you see a child is at home and you want to touch his toy, say, no, it's my own. That means something is missing. The teacher is not doing what he's supposed to do. It's not only about teaching. Teaching is also part of mentorship. It's very important and very crucial. So while it's important to incorporate it, but we must go back to basis, to the drawing board.
What is the basis?
The basis is the people who are teaching must see them as mentors. They must see them as people who be able to, who the student can emulate some positive characters, because it's very important for you to learn about interpersonal relationships. Mentorship skills is very important. Teamwork, problem solving, leadership skills. How do we learn these leadership skills? It's from our teachers, it's from our lecturers. It's very important. Even though there is no specialized curriculum, however, there are some where you learn mentorship when you are doing some courses. There are courses about mentorship. But in a broader view, I would say that the teachers themselves has a key role to play. The religious leader has a significant role to play, because people look onto them. When you go to church, when you go to mosques, they should be able to talk about leadership, positive characters. Career days are very, very important. The traditional rulers have a large followers, and the people look onto them. If people look onto the traditional rulers, that means they are mentors. So they have a significant and crucial role.
That I cannot do mentorship because mentorship is for people who have money. We talk about career mentorship. A lot of people monetize a lot of things today. So in their head is like, who should I pick as my mentor? I'm thinking, okay, let me pick Elon Musk. That's the kind of mentor I want. Or maybe Donald Trump. Can we have people in Africa? Can we have people in Nigeria that what is there? Should mentors be tied to financial status? Is that mentorship tied to financial status? I'm going to ask the question. That's question number one. Then question number two is that how do I get a mentor to mentor me? So two questions. Let me be clear. Question number one: should mentorship be tied to financial status? Then number two: how do I get somebody? If I have somebody I really want the person to mentor me, and maybe the person, I'll just see the person from afar. How do I make myself available? How do I get myself introduced for this person to now decide to mentor me? I don't know if
it's quite clear here. So mentorship is not attached to financial status. No. It has nothing to do with financial status. It has nothing to do with religious status. It has nothing to do with ethical status. Once you are a mentor, you are a mentor, irrespective of where you come from. It's very important. There are people who are gifted in mentoring people. When you board a bus and you are with your son, you meet someone, immediately that person will start interacting with you or with your child. There are people who are like that. And there are also wealthy people that don't even care about others. So it has nothing to do with financial status. It has something to do with the will. It has something to do with passion. I have passion to bring up people. I have passion to develop people. I have passion to train people. I have passion for people to look onto me as a figure, which is important. So poverty is not a barrier for mentorship. No, I totally disagree with that. Because when someone has these skills are gifted and some you can learn. It's very important for us to know that it's when you have passion for something, monetary value is not involved. Yes, monetary value is involved in some aspect when you want to empower somebody, when you want to support somebody. Yes, we can talk about that. But when we talk about the general mentorship scale, the landscape, I strongly believe that it has to do with passion. It has to do with somebody who is willing to help, who is willing to support. That is, in my own opinion, exactly.
Then how do I get somebody to mentor me? Somebody I've been seeing from afar, and I need this person to mentor me.
It's very important for you to approach them. That's the easiest way. I look at people who are mentors in LinkedIn, and I write them. I say, okay, I would like to connect with you, and I connected with them, and then I learned a lot from them, which is very important. And then
so you yourself get mentors.
Of course, I have a lot of mentors. I have people who I look onto, which is important. And then I look onto them career-wise. I learn a lot about careers because even as exposed I am, I still need direction when it comes to career. Everybody still need direction because we are growing every day. You know, knowledge is dynamic, things changes, so it's very important. So it's very important for you to approach them, talk to them, and there are also career boot camps where you can go and actually get mentored. There are people who are willing to mentor people. You can go to television, the media houses, they are all there. There are motivational speakers that talk about mentorship, so it's very important for you to follow them through their social media handles. It's very important. But as a matter of fact, you can't just sit at your comfort zone and expect a mentor to come to you. You have to step out of your comfort zone. Your parents themselves are the first mentors at home. They can mentor you because sometimes when you see the character of a child, you have to go back to the house to look at his parents, you know what they are. So it's very important. If it is somebody who is always beating his wife, there's nothing you can learn from that person. It's not a mentor. Will he mentor you how to beat your wife when you grow? No. You need to learn the positive aspect. Like when we are ushering into 2026, we say we have to leave the old things that have passed away, and we have to pick the positive things from 2025 into 2026. That's what mentorship is all about. You need to pick the positive character from that person. There's something that might have attracted you to that person. Is it the way he talk? Is it the way he relate to people? Is it his leadership qualities? Is it his academic qualification? Is it his career path? So it's very important for you to understand guidance as well. The parents themselves are also mentors and guidance. And there are a lot of organizations, like I mentioned earlier, like my organization, that will go into rural areas, raise awareness about the importance of certain careers. Over the year 2024, 2025, I've been on the forefront to talk about just inclusiveness when it comes to marine and blue economy result. Let me take the recent ones. In 2023, 20% compared to pass rate of 30%. What does that mean? It does to mentor them how to get the right certification, which is important, how to comply with documentation, which is very, very important and crucial. But above all, you can produce all the fabrics today, you can sew the fabrics today. You need a platform, right, to market your product. So we train them also on digital marketing. And then we bring in mentors to mentor them. And there are people they look onto. And I can say that today they are high up there. Some of them are degree holders, but actually they have the skills that they work to support themselves, which is important. Another aspect is about women empowerment. In the past, we realized that we have to move away from the traditional philanthropic way of doing things. That means giving people fish. We have to teach them how to fish, and we decided to invest and mentor women when it comes to skill acquisition, when it comes to women empowerment. We support them with startups, some rare animals. And then today, these women come back to train others. So you can see there's a transfer of knowledge and there's mentorship as well. So which is important. And today some of them can be able to cater for their families and they don't longer rely on us giving them food because they have food for themselves. And then some of them that have even have tailoring shops today, they are employing others. What does that mean? It means that they are contributing to the economy of that particular place and to the economy of Nigeria in total. And what does that mean? They are reducing the unemployment because they are employing others. And they are mentoring people because you're teaching someone how to sew. Somebody that look up to you that you don't have hope in the past, and now that you have hope, you are a mentor to that person, and he would like to be like you.
Right. So we're definitely out of time now. I'd like to ask now, for mentors that you see some of your mentees turn against you, and we've seen even in politics, we've seen in business, some of the persons you mentor turn. How do you handle that situation? That's the last question we have.
Okay, for us, we operate in a non-profit cycle, not in the political cycle where we run the Father and God's Son, and so no. Ours is totally different. We do it out of passion for humanity, not to get something, not to get something in return. We do it out of passion to ensure that the hopeless have hope, to ensure that people who don't have hope are being given hope. People who have lost it in life, definitely we give them light for them to come up. So we don't look at that aspect whether they will turn against you. No. When we are doing something for humanity, when we are serving the cause of humanity, we don't look at the negative aspect. We look at the positive aspect of it.
All right. Thank you so much, Captain Geleb Danladi, who is also the chairman of the Geleb Danladi Foundation, for coming to our studio and talking to us about career paths and mentorship. We hope to, and with the work you've done, you've mentioned about 500 women or more that have been trained by our foundation over time, and we hope to have more mentors in Nigeria who are selfless like yourself and put out a lot of work to help our country grow. I wish you all of the best. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, people. So we'll be right back after this segment.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts. Every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Back and the moments that matter that take center stage. I am Sadia Yakubu and I will be your host for a few minutes. DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. You can also watch on YouTube using a Global TV NG. We often talk about relationships like they are supposed to just work, like the connection is real enough. Everything feels easy all the time, but the truth is friendship and relationships don't survive on feelings alone. They survive on effort, communication, and the understanding. One of the hardest parts of managing relationships is realizing that people grow at different speeds, all right? A friend who once knew everything about you might slowly know less. A relationship that felt effortlessly may suddenly need intentional work, and that doesn't always mean something is wrong. It means something is changing. Managing relationships starts with communication, not just talking, but actually listening. Listening without planning your response, listening without assuming you already know how the other person feels. Most conflicts don't come from hatred, they come from misunderstanding. Another key part of boundaries, caring about someone doesn't mean sacrificing your mental health. You're allowed to say no. Oh, yes. You're allowed to take space and you're allowed to protect your peace without feeling guilty. On this episode of the program, we'll be talking or discussing about managing friendship and relationship with my special guest in person of Hawa Abdullahi, who is a very good friend of mine and also a relationship expert. Good morning, Hawa Abdullahi, and nice having you on the show.
Good morning, my wonderful friend, Saidia Yakubu. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How is Mina?
Mina is fine. How is Abuja?
Abuja is fine, thank you. So let's get started.
Okay. First of all, let's understand what friendship and relationship is all about.
Yeah.
When you say friendship, I think friendship is just on a normal form that comes with no feelings attached.
All right.
And then relationship comes with intimacy most times. So when managing these two things, relationship and friendship, is all about intentional effort. When you say intentional effort, it has to do with emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Being aware of your environment, being aware of your partner and the things you need to do. Most of the times we find ourselves with partners that are nonchalant about their behaviors. Even when they hurt us, they act as if they are not at fault. They expect you to be the one to apologize first. So in expanding or explaining more about this emotional intelligence, that is where communication comes in.
All right.
Yes. So communication, when you talk about communication, in trying to maintain a friendship or relationship, communication is key. Learning to communicate when necessary. Learning to say your feelings instead of a mind-reading partner. You don't expect your partner to know it all. You just have to speak up. Say where you're hurt. Say where you need or you want that said. Then learn to address issues. Some of our partners, or should I say some people, when there is an issue in their relationships or friendship, they start grumbling, carrying faces for each other, coming together to sit, communicate their problems, communicate the solutions, so that the partners or each of them can pick up to correct he or herself. At times, many lack understanding. You just want to complain feeling or ready to understand your partner also. This has been one of the things affecting relationship or friendship these days. You just want to raise your voice, but you don't also want to understand. Understanding is key. It builds the home, it builds relationship, it builds friendship. Then being consistent also, consistency is also important in maintaining relationship and friendship. You have to be consistent. Learn to check on your partner. Little gestures, like sometimes even when you cannot send a short messages to know how they are faring. So one thing among the keys also in maintaining friendship and relationship is also you need to learn respecting it, knowing when to give space, knowing when to set home too. Healthy relationships don't need suffocation. You don't need to suffocate before you can say your relationship is healthy. Communication, when there is respect, when there is consistency, giving boundaries to each other, won't affect your relationship because you already understand each other. Then another thing is learning to apologize by acknowledging your mistakes. When you acknowledge it that yes, you're wrong. You don't wait on the person that is hurt to come up to you and say, I'm sorry for what you did. So at times I call that ego. You always carry shoulder. You can't have in a relationship and you expect it to work. You can't have ego in a relationship and you expect it to work. So to build a healthy friendship, a healthy relationship, you have to be down to learn when to apologize, take responsibilities, and also adapt the effort to make change. Be ready, be willing to make change for your partner, to adapt or to balance it. You don't have to be selfish. Your partner also don't have to be selfish. You both need to learn balancing.
All right, our next question. How can you tell if a friendship is one-sided or not?
I think that's very simple to know.
All right.
Yes, when you are in a relationship or you are in a friendship with somebody and it's one-sided, it's easy unless if you want to turn a blind eye. Most of the time you see the person you are in with doesn't return your kind gesture. They don't appreciate your effort. They are always nagging, always complaining of every little mistakes you do. Once you people share the same feelings, you're always ready to correct each other with love. You're always ready to accept each other and then make corrections together. And then sometimes again, you find yourself when you're trying to build yourself, instead of the person correcting or encouraging you by giving you the support you need, the person keeps weighing you down by words that are not even encouraging, by words that are heartbreaking. They tend to tell you how you are not ready enough, how you are not equipped enough, how you are not knowledgeable enough. And when you call, they don't even respond to your calls. I don't think anybody is even too busy for anyone, unless you're not into that person.
All right.
So all these are there to see, unless you just want to turn a blind eye. And that is why most people are suffering today, because the signs were there, but they failed to accept it.
All right, still talking communication. Why is communication important in friendship?
Well, communication in all areas in life, in dealing with humans, not just relationship. So when you say, why is communication important to relationship? It is one of the things that anybody should go into a relationship or friendship. You can't be in a relationship. Communication helps you build it to the next level. It helps you understand.
All right, I think we'll try and bring her back to tell us more about the topic of discussion: friendship, relationship, all the shapes, how to manage friendship, how to manage relationship with people, relationship with friends, between friends, either a male friend or a female friend. Hello, are you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
So how do friendships change over time?
How do friendships do that? Sorry,
How do
take that
friendships
again.
change over time?
Oh, okay. It's on the foundation which the friendship was built on. I think the foundation matters. If the love, the genuine love, if the kindness that was supposed to last forever is not there, friendship. Because you easily get tired. And again, only why you really want that person. Understand why you need that person in your life. You easily get tired fades up with the person's attitude. You lose interest in whatever thing the person does. So when the love was not built on those things I just listed, by knowing why you want the person, by being from the initial stage, by also being a listing in the first place, I think it gets to a point that it fades because the person gets tired of you. Maybe he has been telling you, okay, this thing you're doing is not right, or this thing you're doing, this is how you should do it. But you failed to be a good partner, you failed to be kind, you failed to communicate your ideas, you also failed to know why that person is in your life. It affects the relationship, it makes it fade. So I think those are the reasons that affects that makes relationship fades over time.
All right, let's talk about trust. Let's talk about trust in relationship. Why is trust important in any relationship?
Trust is very, very important. You can't claim to be in a relationship without trusting someone. You can't say I love you without trusting the person. Trust builds the relationship. It is one of the strongest foundations that a relationship is built on. When you trust somebody, you always rest assured that that person got your back 100%. So trust is one of the key components of relationship, one of the key ingredients that makes a relationship stand strong. Trust is when you believe in somebody, when you know this person can't hurt you, when you know what the person is capable of doing. So if trust is not there, believe me, that relationship is nothing. It's going nowhere. Because even if you end up with that person, you would definitely go separate ways one day, because trust is what makes a relationship stand still. You have to believe and trust the person, knowing when and what the person is capable of doing at any time.
All right, honesty and trust work hand in hand. How can honesty strengthen relationship?
Okay, honesty deals with telling your partner the truth, being honest in all that you do, opening up by letting the person knows your fears, your challenges, your setbacks, your failures, and your barriers. So opening up, being honest in all that you do to your partner, it helps build trust, because that's even one of the steps to building a trust in a relationship or in a friendship. Being honest, opening up, telling the truth when necessary instead of lying. Not when you do something and you're being asked, you say, no, that is not how it was done, or that is not what I did, or that is not what I said. So honesty is very, very important, and it strengthens trust in a relationship.
Let's talk about boundaries and respect.
Okay.
Why are boundaries important in friendships or relationships, in our daily activities or daily lives?
Okay, boundaries is very, very important in relationships, because you need to understand that there is a life outside relationship. There is a personal life outside friendship. It doesn't mean that you're not carrying your partner along, but sometimes just give them the space they need to think about their own life, themselves, to put things in order, to know what is best for them. You understand? You don't need, I think a healthy relationship, like I said earlier, does not suffocate each other. You just need to be free-minded, be open to each other, just like the honesty we just talked about. When you're honest with each other, I don't think respecting boundaries should affect your relationship or friendship.
All right, let's talk about places like offices, business centers, or business places, or outside these places. We come together. We have so many people coming together as one. For example, where I work or your organization, we have many people coming together to work there. We humans, we are different. All right,
yes.
So it's not everybody that knows how to manage relationship. So if you're in this situation, maybe a colleague of yours has this attitude, doesn't know how to maintain relationship, or doesn't know how to speak to people politely, how would you handle that person without hurting their feelings?
Okay, that's why we said communication is very, very important in everything you do in life. we are all different humans with different behaviors. The way you take things, the way you see things, the way you understand things is different from how the other person sees it. So when you meet someone with such behaviors, I think communication will help in such cases. You just need to approach the person in a mannerable way, talk to the person in a way he or she will understand. And if the person fails to, then it falls back to you also as a human, as somebody who understands communication and boundaries better. So you now know, you live by example in such cases. You act the way you want to be addressed. So sometimes I think our behaviors encourage the reaction we get from people.
So how do you handle a friend who doesn't respect your boundaries, still on boundaries?
That is why I said sometimes what we get from people, the reaction we get from people is how we present ourselves. When you show them, okay, you are this kind of person, definitely the person will adjust. The person won't mess with you if he or she knows this is the kind of person I'm dealing with. He or she respects her boundaries. He or she values respect. Okay, no matter how he behaves around others, he will definitely not behave in such way or such manner when he or she is around you. So when you tell them by words through communication and they fail to understand, then that is when you now involve the technique of acting the way you want to be addressed. You keep your boundaries, you keep your distance for the sake of not ending up abusing the person or displaying characters that are not to be encouraged in the society.
All right, let's talk about conflict and problem solving. All right, what are healthy ways to deal with disagreement?
Healthy way to deal with disagreement depends on the context, depends on the situation at hand. But if you're dealing, and it also involves dealing with whoever is involved. Now, there are different kinds of humans. There are violent kind of people. There are non-violent kinds of people also. There are people that by mere communication, you're done. Everything is settled. And there are people that at that particular time, they are being aggressive. You just need to avoid them at that time. So handling conflict in a situation, a relationship, or in a friendship has to deal with who is involved. So first of all, you study the kind of person you are dealing with, and then you know the techniques to apply in handling such conflict.
All right. When should you apologize in a relationship?
Immediately you know you're wrong, apologize. And if your partner is very, very angry at that moment, to understand or to take your apologies or accept your apologies rather, you just give him or her some minutes or some hours to cool off. Then you talk to the person and apologize, admit, acknowledge. There is a difference between apologizing and not acknowledging that you're wrong. You can apologize and not admit or acknowledge that you're wrong, which may make the person not even take you serious. So are you just apologizing for apologizing's sake, or you're apologizing and acknowledging that yes, you're wrong, and subsequently you will not repeat what you did? So those things we need to always put it at the back of our minds while apologizing to whoever we have issues with. Apologize and acknowledge. It builds the relationship, it settles conflicts.
You know, it's not everyone, either he or she, that knows how to apologize to someone. Not everyone knows how to say sorry to someone when they offend you. So
yes.
How do you intend to deal with such situation?
Okay. Sometimes when we deal with people that are not really good at apologizing, there are many ways we can adapt to deal with those kinds of situations. One, you use yourself as an example to them. When they are wrong I think sometimes it's not about them being selfish, because sometimes we feel, okay, apologizing to them, it will make them to keep being too pompous of themselves, too proud and all that. Sometimes in order to teach a child, you have to bring yourself down to the level of a child to make him or she or her understand. So when you're dealing with those kind of people, most of the times, there is a way to win them. When they wrong you and you realize that you start talking without he or she saying sorry, you tell the person playfully, I'm sorry, since you don't want to say sorry. And most cases, you see the person end up laughing. The person will say, oh, so you're expecting me to say sorry. That is when you now bring in the topic. You bring in the conversation and say, no, what you're doing is wrong. When you're wrong, admit you're also wrong. Say sorry. It doesn't take anything from you. Teach them the way you want to be. You understand the way you learn your own simplicity. Entertain them through that way. Teach them and say, okay, this is how it's done. I think doing that continuously, they will also learn to adapt to it. And sometimes they will even be ashamed of themselves. They will start picking up and they will learn. But not in some violent situations. When it becomes violent, I think the best is to distance yourself from them until they realize, yes, this is what they are supposed to do.
All right. How can listening help solve relationship problems?
Okay, when you talk about listening, solving relationship problems, I think listening is very, very important, because when you don't listen, you end up giving a wrong judgment. You end up misquoting and causing more damage instead of repairing the situation at hand. Listening helps you to understand the context of the problem. It helps to know how to fix it, where to start, and where to important, because it helps you to understand the problem and also helps you to know how to solve the problem.
So let's talk about toxicness in a relationship. What should you do if a friendship or relationship becomes toxic? You know,
what?
I said let's talk about toxicness in relationship. What should you do if a friendship or relationship becomes toxic? You know, let me make an example with these Gen Z generations, right? We have so many toxic relationships out there. They are not willing to let go, either because of financial purpose or one reason to another. So what do you do in this situation?
Well, if you say you don't want to let go, I think one day you will learn the hard way. According to VDM, you will learn the hard way for this kind of thing.
All right.
You don't know when to leave. So when you try your best, you don't just live in a relationship because you both are there to help each other grow out of some certain behaviors. But to be influenced.
All right, we're having a bit of a network issue while we're trying to get her back to talk to us, to keep talking. Let's learn from our relationship expert as she tells us what we should do if a relationship is toxic. What should we do? Welcome back.
Yeah, okay.
So, we are listening. What should we do if a friendship or relationship becomes toxic?
Okay, so if a relationship becomes toxic, the best way, when you have already engaged the techniques of trying to settle it amicably and it doesn't work for you, if it becomes toxic, is to leave, give space. That is where boundaries come in. You give them some, you go away from them. But if you fail to leave, I think whatever thing you end up seeing, you shouldn't blame anyone for it, because that is why you see most people today, they end up being hurt instead of them leaving. you get yourself hurt, or you get yourself killed, and some gets to the extent of being toxic. Good. When you try your best and it doesn't work, just leave and give it some space. If at the end of the day you figure it out and find your way back, fine. Yeah. And if it doesn't, just don't force it. Just let it go.
Talking about letting go, let's talk about maintaining and letting go. How can you maintain relationship despite busy schedules? We're having network issue today. Are you still there?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Maintaining is maintaining is when you try to make it work.
All right, let's still try. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue from where we stopped. Don't go nowhere. Still on Global Morning Weekend Edition. My name is Sadia Yakubu. Talking about relationship, maintaining or managing relationship and friendships. I'll be right back.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Men can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festival is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time, where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
rule news in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
To entertainment.
All right, welcome back from that short break. And before I went on that break, I told you we're talking about relationship, managing relationship and friendship, what things to do and things not to do, with my guest, my very good friend Hawa Abdullahi, who is a relationship expert. So welcome back from that short break, Hawa.
Thank you.
All right, so let's continue from where we stopped. Is it okay to outgrow friendships? Why or why not?
Is it okay to what? Sorry.
Outgrow. Is it okay to outgrow friendships? Why or why not?
Yes, it's okay to outgrow friendships, because You can't keep being in a situation that makes you feel less of yourself. There are things you grow out of. The world has changed. You don't need to be stagnant. You need to improve, grow mentally, grow physically, not in all areas. So if it's not helping you grow, if it's not affecting you positively, and if it's affecting you mentally, I think it's okay and safe to say you can outgrow the relationship.
Okay. So how do you support a friend during difficult times?
You can only support emotionally by being there, by rendering advices, even though some of the advices are not taken by people who are going through a lot, mentally and emotionally. But sometimes your presence alone helps them deal with the situation issue. And be kind in your words, be kind in the display of your affections, and be understanding at that moment. It helps them overcome their emotional stress.
Okay, so when do you think is the best time to distance yourself from a relationship or friendship?
The first time to what?
When do you think is the best time? When is it best to distance yourself from a relationship or friendship?
Okay, the best time is when you understand it's no longer what you wanted it to be.
All right.
You try, yes. When you realize that it is no longer what you wanted it to be, what you've always pictured it to be, I think that's the best time.
Let's talk about self-reflection. What kind of friend are you?
What?
What kind of friend are you?
Oh, what kind of friend am I?
Yes.
Well, I'm the kind of friend that is always playing. I tend to tell the truth, no matter how you feel, because I feel that's what friendship is all about, being real instead of other. That's the kind of person I am, saying the truth at all times, regardless of what is involved, who is involved. I make sure I tell you the truth, and I'm always there to support you, no matter what you're going through, unless you don't want me to be there. But I try my best to be the kind of person you want me to be supportive, and to also encourage you in difficult times.
So how do your actions affect your relationships?
Well, my actions affect my relationship most of the time because I easily get irritated by some behaviors. I don't do rudeness. I don't take bad behaviors. I feel you should have been trained. I shouldn't be grooming an adult. I shouldn't be babysitting an adult. Just because they said go together doesn't mean I speak all as an adult. So that is the kind of person I am.
So how do you handle changes in relationships as people grow or change?
When people grow, understand that is nature. Definitely, everybody always do. You have to grow past a lot of things, even in your age. You grow every year. You add a year to your normal age. So it's normal. That's what every reasonable person should understand, that at a particular time in life, at a particular point of life, people grow, people change. So you should learn to accept it and move on.
All right, last question before I let you go for today to go and take a cup of tea. What habits helps you keep relationships stronger over time?
What?
What habits helps keep your relationships stronger over time or strong over time?
There are a lot of habits which has to do with, I think basically it brings us a lot of things we've talked about, the things we've listed and mentioned earlier. things to keep relationships stronger are communication, being consistent, learning to respect each other, learning to apologize, and being understanding.
All right. Thank you. I don't know if you have anything. What parting word do you have for our viewers?
Based on what is discussed, based on the topic, I think the only advice I would give is, in everything you do, don't give what you can't take. If you are the kind of person that cherish respect, give respect. If you want to be understood, learn to be understanding also. And if you want boundaries, learn to give boundaries to others also. Give them space and be understanding. That is just all I have. And at the point when it has to do with a relationship or a friendship becoming toxic, learn when to leave.
I just remembered something now. How do you manage your relationships with your tractor life? Because I could recall you're among the women driving tractor. So how do you manage that? How do you manage the stress and all of that?
It was actually not easy. And it's all about having an understanding partner. There are some partners who we see it as a job that only men are involved in. I remember having someone who said, I think it was, we were actually having a chat, and before you knew it led to a little misunderstanding. Started mocking and laughing and said, "You're not even ashamed, you're driving truck. Other ladies are." I was like, "Are you kidding me? You think it's easy? I'm a professional tractor operator. Not all ladies can drive it, and I'm proud of what I do." So I think it has to do with having an understanding partner. When you have an understanding partner, it makes the relationship easy for you. You know how to balance things. And operating tractor is not something you're doing every day. It all depends on the target at hand and the portion of land or just the space you're covering the week or in a day. So there is always time for everything. One way or the other, you definitely know how to balance it. It's just so important for you to just always put yourself first and be happy about what you do. So once you are proud of what you do, you definitely know how to balance your tractor operating, work, and your relationship.
All right. Thank you very, very much as we wrap up this segment of the program, Global Morning Weekend Edition. I want to sincerely appreciate you, Hawa Abdullahi, one of the female tractor drivers and relationship expert, for being part of my program, Global Morning on Global Television, the Weekend Edition.
Thank you very much for having me, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I think next time we're going to talk about you and your tractor.
No problem. I will be looking forward to that.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Yes, that has been the size of the package. Maintaining friendship. How do you manage friendship? How do you manage relationship? Either in your office, your shops, or wherever you find yourself, make sure you try as much as possible to maintain relationships, to maintain friendships, like make everything work. Try as much as possible to do away with ego and pride and whatever you know is going to cause problem between you and people. Try as much as possible to set boundaries, to tell people, this is what I want, and let them tell you what they want so that you can go hand in hand. Up next is our sports. We will talk about skipping, form of exercise. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back from that short break and welcome to sports segment on today's edition of Global Morning. We're going to talk about skipping exercise. Skipping exercise always starts as a small decision, just one off. Just say pause. The plan is still there. The sneakers still by the door, the intention fully intact. Today is simple, not the day. There are plenty of reasonable expectations. Work was long, energy was low, the weather felt wrong, the body asks for rest, and listening to your body is supposed to be healthy, right? It's easy to turn rest into permission and permission into pattern. Skipping exercise isn't always about laziness. Sometimes it's about mental overload, stress that doesn't show up on a step counter. Exercise asks for effort while everything else already has. The workout gets postponed. Tomorrow becomes a placeholder for motivation. And yet there is often a small tug of guilty underneath the comfort, a voice reminding you that movement used to feel good. That strength came from showing up even on low energy days. Skipping once doesn't erase progress, but skipping repeatedly can slowly distance you from habits you meant to keep. Still, balance matters. Rest is real. Recovery is necessary. The line between rest and avoidance isn't always obvious in the moment. Some days, skipping exercise is exactly what you need. Other days, it's a missed chance to feel better. Now, outfit for skipping exercise: oversized hurdles or sweatshirts big enough that you can wear, working out leggings or sweatpants, athletic looking, zero athletic activity is required, running shoes for the illusion or readiness, messy bun or cap, low effort, high commitment to comfort, wireless headphones, and fully charged so that you can listen to your music while you're doing this. You have a smartwatch or fitness band to track step the fridge. Let's talk about advantages of skipping exercise. It allows rest and recovery. Taking a break can help your body recover, especially if you're sore, injured, or overtrained. Rest days are essential for muscle repair and preventing burnout. Number 2, reduces stress and pressure. Skipping a workout can sometimes protect your mental health when you're overwhelmed, exhausted, or dealing with a lot of emotional issue. Prevent injury. Exercising when you're extremely tired, sick, or unfocused can increase the risk of injury. Skipping in this case can be the safer choice. It saves time and energy. On a very busy days, skipping exercise frees time for work, family, or rest. Help you manage priorities. And let's dive into disadvantages of skipping exercise. Loss of consistency. Regularly skipping workouts can break routines, make it harder to restart and maintain long-term fitness habits. Decline in physical fitness. All right, less movement can lead to reduced strength, endurance, flexibility, and overall health over time. Increased guilt or regret. Skipping often comes with feelings of guilt, especially when exercise was part of a goal or plan. Missed mental health benefits. Exercise helps reduce stress, improve mood, and boost energy. Skipping means missing those benefits. Can become a habit. What starts as just one day can turn into frequent avid avoidance if there is no balance at all. So in summary, skipping exercise occasionally can be healthy and necessary, especially for recovery. However, skipping too often can negatively affect both physical health and motivation. The key is balance, knowing when skipping is self-care and when it's avoidance. Thank you for watching. See you next week. We hope you enjoyed every bit of that sporting segment. We hope the conversation and stories we shared inspired you and gave you something to think about. If you missed any part of the show, You can watch the full episode on YouTube using our Global TV NG. And that will come to the end of this segment, Global Morning Weekend Edition. On behalf of me and Ubong Usoro, join us next week for more insights, more voices, and more stories that matters. I am Sadia Yakubu on behalf of the entire production team. Thank you for watching. Until next week, stay safe, stay focused, and bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.